Hi everyone, we're drawing live in 40 minutes and I'm filming this a bit earlier this week because of this, because I'm going to actually tidy up my desk. I think I probably start every before and after video going, I really need to tidy my desk, and then it just descends into this chaos, and this kind of, I suppose, represents like my brain. And also like my desk at uni used to look like this. I really don't think I've changed at all. So I just give myself this little spot to work in, and then chaos descends around me. We are drawing this evening. We're going to do like a zoom in narrative. So we're doing like panel narratives, and you might have seen that I have shared a panel narrative session that we did from June 2021 as an archive sketchbook challenge this month, and it's really nice to revisit that, and because it's kind of changed and developed how I'm going to run this evening. So we're going to do it in two halves. We're going to do one similar to that challenge, so we're going to be zooming in on a landscape, and then we're going to do another one where it's kind of like a bit more narrative focused, and we're kind of like going in. So there's two different things to take away from this session. So one is going to be like how to develop choosing focus of what you want to draw when you're out on location, and then the other side of things is going to be a bit more narrative based. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. But I'm not quite sure what I'm going to use. Again, like every week. This week I am going to be a bit more prepared for what I bring along. I know last week I kind of just panicked and started making these brush pens like just before, but actually doing that has been amazing, because it's really, I've struggled a lot with my work so far this year, and making these brush pens, I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. I used to use them at uni, used to use them quite a lot, used to use ink quite a lot, used ink when I was working on the picture book, and then almost like put it to one side and was like, I don't use that now, I use this. And then lots of things have kind of come together. We did some art shopping whilst we were away in London this week. And I bought some bits that have kind of like slotted together things for me, including these Molotow masking liquid pens. So I saw Cassie has been using masking fluid pens in her sketchbook, and I saw these in CasArt, and they were probably the only thing in CasArt that I didn't own. So I thought, well, I'll get myself a couple of those, and it's all kind of linked back to this printmaker. Well, Phil's been doing a lot of printmaking recently, and he's exploring printmaking more, so it means both of us have been looking more at printmakers and printmaking books. And this one, Design for Today, shared this artist, and I saw a little snippet of her work and just fell in love instantly and ordered this book straight away, secondhand. And I kind of had a look through the other night, and I said to Phil, like, I love this. And we've been talking a lot recently about lithography, and I'm not in a position at the moment to do any lithography, but I think what's been really nice is kind of identifying what I do like from these prints, and then thinking like, okay, what can I do to not replicate it, but what can I do to get that into my drawing work. So having the masking fluid pens this week has been really nice, because I've been able to create these sorts of textures where I mask out sections in my sketchbook and then use the inks over the top. And it's only maybe been like 2 or 3 days whilst I've been playing around with this, maybe even less. But I've been doing, you might have seen, I popped up on Instagram about people sending me their cats because we were on the train on the way to London and it was delayed. So I've been doing these cat drawings and I really loved them. But it'll be interesting this evening because we've only got sort of like 15 minutes per image this evening. Nothing too, whereas these I've been taking a lot of time and like really considering what I'm doing with the mark making and the masking fluid and how I can use it. Like I've been doing experiments, which I never do. I normally just go for it. So it will be interesting really to think about like how I can experiment more with the process I've been really enjoying in my sketchbook this week, but also like how I can do that under a time pressure, or do I even want to do that under a time pressure, or do I just want to enjoy this evening like chatting and just, you know, keeping my hand warm by moving a pencil around a piece of paper, or do I want to extend some of the work I've been doing today and think more about like how can I add those textures in and layer up. And I think if I'm going to do that, then I need to prep some pages, and I'm just not quite sure. I'm not really a page prepper. Some people come to these sessions and they're so organised and they've prepped their sketchbooks and they've prepped their panels ahead of time. And I am definitely, even though I'm filming this now and I'm saying to you, the thing I should do is prep these sketchbook pages and sketchbook panels, there's still part of me that's like, I really don't want to do that. But actually, perhaps it's not a bad thing having prepped some, even if I don't use them, at least then I've got them. I can always just go back and, you know, work something else into them later on if I'm finding that actually working on prepped paper under a time pressure and with isn't working for me. So maybe let's do that. Let's just put some paper in between these. If you're new and this is one of the first videos you've watched, I like to put paper in between my sketchbook pages, especially if I'm using a lot of materials. I don't spray my sketchbooks. I just put paper in between. You don't need to do it for the whole book, otherwise you will probably break the spine, but just the last few that you've done will just keep them safe. And those who have been here a while will notice that I am leaving pages in between these drawings, and that is because it feels like one of those 2p machines at the fair, like just pushing things back. The reason why I'm leaving stuff in between pages at the moment is because I've got I'm using a lot of materials. Sorry, I lost my train of thought because I was thinking, what am I going to prep these pages with? I am leaving pages in between like this because I'm using a lot of materials, and although Royal Talons can take a lot of materials thrown at them, they do sometimes buckle under the pressure. So what I am going to probably do is prep with one of these Milky brush pens. It's a Pentel pen. I think they're water-based. If colour fades, press the button several times. Oh, sorry, I was just seeing if they were light fast. But I got one of these in London Graphic Centre in London because we decided to go to probably every art shop we could in a small radius of where we were staying, because I was quite nervous the day that the awards were on in London, and I wasn't really sure. I just couldn't focus, and I couldn't stop thinking about the award ceremony and how I wasn't really, like the whole couple of months that we've known that we've been shortlisted, I've not really thought about it that much. And then the day of, I just, yeah, it really, all of a sudden it really got to me, and I suddenly realised that, like, oh my gosh, if I win, I've got to give a speech, and if I don't win, I've got to tell everyone that I haven't won. And like, what if I do win? What if I don't win? What if I do win? What if I don't win? And my brain just couldn't quite switch off. So Phil said, what do you really want to go do today? Because we were going to go to an art gallery. I think that's what I mentioned last time. And I basically, all we did, we went to 3 art shops, one after the other, 4 art shops, one after the other, because we went to a printmaking shop first thing. So Phil could pick up some bits that he's wanted for his printmaking. And then we went to a couple of art shops, and London Graphic Centre is the last one I went into, and it's 3 stories of art materials, and I could only just about fit in the first floor. So we have said, let's go back to London and do a similar day again, but just do it in a day trip, which we might just be able to manage later in the year. So I'm going to prep one. So that's the Milky Brush Pentel pen. I have, I bought this maybe like 2 days ago, and I think I've used it almost every day since. So I've got another couple of colours, and I'm going to do a video about these probably next month. Now I'll do like a London haul of like what I got in London. So because I've still got a Jackson's haul to go up this month, which is filmed and edited. I just need to link everything underneath. And then maybe I'll have like a This is just a Faber-Castell Beige Red Abic Duro watercolour marker, so maybe I'll do that as one of the panels. I need another one of these. This is running in low. This is just a, this is actually a Sandy Hester inspired purchase, this brush pen. So although I'm enjoying using the smaller ones, I've also got one which is just with water in, which again, I never take these around with me. I don't know why, like, but Sandy got me onto these because they're big and chunky, and they have the push button as well with them. So yeah, just get some water on that because that pen is running quite low. And then maybe one more prepped one that I can just leave, maybe like one of my Montana pens. Tara reminded me that I've still also not uploaded this Montana pen video, which I filmed probably like 2 months ago now. But what I wanted to do, because they've been in my pencil case for a little while and I've been using them a bit more, is just do a bit of an update on how I'm getting on with them before I release the video. So that video is also coming. I'm going to try and get that up this month. So yeah, thank you, Tara, for reminding me that I've still got to share that. But if you are all thinking, oh, I'd really like to see those pens in a bit more action, I did do a video for them again about 2 years ago, I think, so it's been a little while. I made a set of green ones for taking out on location with me, and they quickly became my favourite pens. So yeah, that is up on Patreon already, and you can find that on the contents page. But I think I'm going to leave that there. Maybe we'll prep one and let's tidy the desk and then see how we're getting on, because yeah, I really need to get some room on this desk that I can actually work on. So yeah, panels this evening, quite quick drawing time compared to what I've been doing the last couple of days, where I've been giving myself like a good sort of half an hour to 40 minutes to an hour to work on something. Some of them are a bit more, some of them are a bit quicker, but some of them a bit longer. So yeah, let's see how I get on with these 15-minute timers, and I will catch up with you at the end. Thanks everyone. Hi everyone, just sharing my drawings from last night's session. There were a few people who shared last night who were saying like, oh, I'm not, I don't love the work that I've made, but they were still sharing it. And I said it's so important to do that because it's so nice to see other people attempting the session or taking part in the session, not even attempting, taking part in the session, being there, showing up, doing the work, doing the drawings, and then being like, I don't like this, but that's okay. And like, there were a few people saying it last night, and I said, you know, towards the end of everyone sharing, I was saying to people, you know, close the sketchbook, walk away and come back to fresh eyes tomorrow, and I bet you'll feel really different about it. And I think that's sometimes like really good advice, especially when you're really not feeling a drawing. And it happened when I shared all my favourite drawings of 2022, I think it was. I found those drawings that I'd done of Trixie that I'd completely forgot I'd done, and almost like at the time I probably didn't think that much of them, but then coming back to them even like 6 months later with a pair of fresh eyes was so important. So I didn't really love the drawings I did last night. They're okay. I'm looking at them with very technical eyes at the moment because I'm thinking like I'm trying to really push myself and push my work, and you can see that in the work that I'm doing in this sketchbook. It's like I think I've been talking a lot this year so far about like that idea of leveling up, like I'm moving to the next stage of like my drawing career or drawing like practice. And I think I finally I'm kind of like clambering up that step. I'm like pulling myself up. So there's lots of things in here I do like, but there's also lots of things in here that I felt just I didn't have enough time to explore. And I think I mentioned that at the beginning of this video, like I've been spending, you know, 45 minutes to an hour working on pieces at the moment. So to then go and work on something for 15 minutes, especially as I've not been able to make any life drawing recently, which is normally where I get those quick drawings and that quick drawing practice in. I did actually really struggle. So we did these to begin with, and these were seven minutes and then 7.5 minutes. I really loved this. So this is using that Montana pen as the background, like prepping, and then that blue over the top is a Neo colour, and it just worked so well over the top and gave such a nice, like having that yellow coming through in the background's really lovely. And I also had just like a scrap of Conte crayon on my desk, which I hadn't planned for it to be there. I think it had just got mixed up in some of the materials, but I really like that texture as well. Like there's such a nice mix of textures happening, and I added this blue, really like I was fiddling right at the end of these warm-ups, and I added this blue in, and I was like, oh, I really wish I hadn't done that, but now I'm so glad I did do that. I think that blue really like pulls it back and then pulls these colours forward. So, and then having this like texture from behind from the prepped paper, yeah, I'm really appreciative of myself for actually prepping the pages. And then when we came to do this one, so we had an hour to do this, 15 minutes per panel, and I spent the first few minutes actually just prepping, and I just used the beige Posca. None of my materials are in front of me at the moment because that I used last night. There's some around the edges, but like I ended up waking up at 5 o'clock this morning, so I've just been drawing on the sofa for the first few hours of the day, which has been really nice. But a lot of them are now on the sofa. But I just prepped the pages with the beige Posca, which I go for quite a lot, and I found that did help, but I think it wasn't the right colour to prep. I think having something like a bit darker maybe would have been better. And I said at the end of the session, there's just all of these drawings in here. They're nice, but everything's flat. So it's some feedback I gave one of my MA students this week. She was asking for like direct feedback about the artwork she was making, and she was saying like, what isn't working in this? And I said like, everything is the same tone. So if you like close your eyes until your eyelashes touch, you can see that actually the darkest tone in here is this window ledge, and maybe like a little bit in this one of the person sat next to the fire, maybe these trees and these windows, but like there's nothing else that's really stood out, and it's not creating any contrast in the work. Like all these pieces that I've added in, which are like have a tonal difference, don't sort of give you anything. And that's where I think that's where I'm being quite hard on myself. I think if I'd made this a year ago, 6 months ago, I would have been really happy, and really, you know, really pleased with this. And I think, again, that's a really good reason, another reason to keep all your drawings and kind of keep notes about your drawings, or really start thinking more critically about your drawings, and like thinking, you know, what is it I want to get out of this? And that goes back to that idea of asking your sketchbook questions, which I know a lot of you are doing now, which is amazing. But I think, yeah, there are definitely things I like in here that are kind of linking back to that work I've been doing this week. And then there's bits in here which I think could have been pushed further, or could have been like better approached. But I suppose with a time limit and like working under pressure, I'm not mad about it, and I'm not being hard on myself. I'm just giving myself that visual critique to then be like, okay, what will I do better next time? Some of the things I really do like in here, though, are the bits like that I've been doing in my personal work in this sketchbook. So these like inky textures in here. Really like the shape of the cat and the lemons on the window ledge, and this actually has a really nice tonal variation where the window, what's out of the window, I've pushed it back, and there's some really nice textures here which are very loose and like impressionist mark making. And I really like the texture in the curtain as well. And then I do like this. I think if I just made like these, I think I would have been happier, which is quite interesting because, again, I think if you'd asked me a couple of years ago, I would have been happier doing like tiny houses in landscapes. But because I've really been pushing myself this year, I'm much happier with like a more domestic setting, perhaps, or like thinking about the ordinary day to day, which is something that I was really focused on when I was studying my BA and my MA, and like imagination observation was what I wrote my MA dissertation on. So I think like that's a really nice, it's nice that that's coming back into my work, especially after doing years and years of observational location drawing. But yeah, so there's some good things in here and some things that I will take away. Like I really like this pop of red, and I actually like these probably. I think I can see they're not the best drawings, but I can take more from these than I can from these, which feel a bit more resolved, but like I can see where I've gone wrong, and I can see where I've like not been more considered. And I think that's again something that's come up a couple of times this week when me and Phil have been talking about our work, and like he really plans, and because he's doing printmaking at the moment, you've really got to plan ahead, whereas I'm much more spontaneous and I will go into something like rush in. And I think actually maybe it's something I can start learning and putting back into my work. Is that okay, like let's take a step back, let's really consider like the composition and the movement and like the tone, and let's actually make those considered choices first, and then let's maybe make the artwork. So yeah, I think yeah, some good things and bad things, and like I'm really appreciative of you all leaving such lovely comments under the videos recently. I know I have been quite critical of my own work, but I really do see the development happening when I do that. So yeah, thank you so much for your lovely kind comments about the work. I really do appreciate them. If you want to see more of these before and after videos, so I tend to do about 3 of these a month, and most of them are up on the contents page. Hopefully by the time this one's you're watching this one, I've updated the contents page. We've been traveling around a lot this month for work, so I'm a little bit behind updating the contents page, but I will kind of sit down and do that once my I've got a couple more things left to do this month travel wise, so once that's all out the way, I'm going to sit down and update that contents page and make it look a bit tidier. So yeah, all of these before and afters are up there. If you've got any questions about any of the materials I've used, let me know, or anything else I've mentioned in the video. And yeah, I will see you all next month. Thanks everyone. Bye.